For decades, machines replace muscle. Now, they're coming for our minds. Artificial intelligence isn't just a tool anymore, it's a new kind of workforce. From factories to corner offices, no industry is immune to automation's reach. This is what some call the Great Displacement, the redefinition of the future of work. Historically, technology did change work. From the steam engines to the assembly lines to the computers, technology can be used, good or bad. But AI is different. It learns, adapts, and evolves faster than any human can. Tasks that used to take hours now take seconds. And it's not just speed, it's precision. The AI never tires, and it never fails. Or at least that's what they want us to think. Daily routine tasks worldwide are being swallowed up by relentless algorithms. Truck drivers and warehouse staffs were affected first. Now, white-collar and blue-collar jobs are in the crosshairs. The impact is profound. Productivity is soaring, but the human cost is rising. Governments and corporations are scrambling to find social balance. Adaptation has become the ultimate survival skill in the new era. We're moving from a world of doing to a world of directing. Enter a new mechanical workforce, if you will, designed for both precision and empathy. These machines are collaborators, bridging the gap between human intuition and machines' logic. But who controls these machines? The jobs that will be left will require deep empathy and human touch. AI can calculate, but it cannot care. It simulates, but it cannot feel. This transition will be difficult, creating new winners and a lot of new losers. But history shows us we, humans, especially Americans, we adapt. New industries will always emerge beyond our imagination. The question isn't if AI takes our jobs, but how many jobs does it take and where do we go from there? Will we use this technology to liberate ourselves and have ultimate human freedom? Or will it deepen the divide between the owners and the workers, the rich and the poor, the slaves and the slave masters? The choice isn't up to AI, it's up to us. Education must shift. We have to stop memorizing and start critically thinking. And we need to improve and grow our emotional intelligence. The social contract is being rewritten in real time for the digital age. We are the dawn of the most significant transformation in human history, this generation and our future generations. Small businesses now compete globally using powerful AI tools, but the fear of the unknown remains a powerful dividing force. Our identity as humans has been tied to work for centuries. What happens when it's gone? We might finally rediscover the true value of leisure and community, or we might not. Automation could solve our most pressing global problems, from climate change to health, to financial issues, to the everyday human struggle. But we need a new global ethics committee, if you will, to oversee AI. Who's in charge of AI? What happens when it becomes autonomous? What happens when it has no emotion at all? Or even more so, what happens when it has emotions? Will they be human emotions, robotic emotions? We aren't really being replaced, we're being evolved. The revolution has indeed begun. In 2025, 50,000 jobs in the United States were eliminated for one specific stated reason. Not the economy, not a recession. Companies stood up on the record and said, we're doing this because of AI. That's the official number. The real number, the quiet kind of number, where someone just isn't replaced when they leave, is certainly much higher. And the companies doing this aren't struggling. They're some of the most profitable, fastest growing businesses on earth. So today, let's look at the actual numbers, not the panic headlines, the real data. How many AI companies exist right now? How much money is moving through the industry? How many jobs have already been lost? And what do the most credible projections say is coming by 2030? Then we're going to ask the question that actually matters. Is this just about jobs? Or are jobs simply the first and easiest thing to take? By the end of this video, I hope that you'll have some more of an understanding of exactly where we're at in this transition and where the most credible experts, including the people building this technology, think it's headed next. One number in particular is going to surprise you. It's not from a journalist or a politician. It's from a CEO of one of the two companies actually building the most advanced AI systems on the planet. We will get there. First, the scale of the industry, because most people have no idea how big it already is. As of right now, there are somewhere between 70 and 200,000 AI companies operating globally. Depending on exactly how you count them or who you talk to, even the conservative estimate is staggering for an industry that barely existed in its current form a few years ago. The United States alone is home to roughly a quarter to a third of all of them. That's right, a quarter to a third of all AI companies are right here in America. And this isn't a speculative number propped up by hype. The global AI market was valued at roughly $680 billion in 2024. And it's projected to blow past $800 billion by 2030, with some forecasts putting it well over $1 trillion within the next 5 years. To put that in perspective, that's larger than the GDP of most countries on the entire planet. The two companies most associated with the biggest AI systems are OpenAI and Anthropic, each reportedly approaching or having already crossed $30 billion in annualized revenue. For context, OpenAI is reported to be aiming for that number after starting the year at just $4 billion. Going from $4 to $30 billion in a single year would be virtually unprecedented in the history of any software company. This isn't a niche industry anymore. This is one of the largest, fastest moving sectors in the global economy. In just the first 6 months of 2025, nearly 78,000 tech jobs alone were tied to AI-driven cuts. Some of the names are familiar, of course. Amazon eliminated 14,000 corporate roles, citing AI as part of the reason. Major Wall Street banks have signaled they expect to cut as many as 200,000 positions over the next several years, concentrated heavily in entry-level and back-office work. Why hire staff? Why pay for insurance when a robot or an AI software can do it themselves? Manufacturing has been absorbing this longer than most people realize. Since the year 2000, automation has contributed to the loss of roughly 1.7 million manufacturing jobs in the United States alone. And that's before accounting for what the AI-driven robotics adds up on top of any old automation. This isn't a future problem. It's already showing up today in unemployment filings, corporate earning calls, and layoff announcements, right now in real time. Here's where the data gets genuinely split, depending on who you ask and what's worth understanding. The World Economic Forum's most cited projection estimates that 92 million jobs will be displaced globally by 2030. But it also projects 170 million new roles will be created in that same window. Net positive on paper, 78 million more jobs than we started with. To me, I don't believe a single word of it. That to me is the optimistic, gaslighting headline version. But numbers like that hide something important. The new jobs and the lost jobs are not the same jobs for the same people in the same places. Who loses jobs, who gains them, when and where? Oxford Economics has a separate, more specific projection. Up to 20 million manufacturing jobs could disappear globally by 2030 due to automation and robotics. That's a much narrower, much more concrete claim than the WEF's broader net positive framing. And then there's a number that made headlines for a different reason. Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, one of the two companies actually building these systems, has publicly stated he believes AI could eliminate as much as half of all entry-level white-collar jobs within 5 years. That is scary. Think about it. That's not an outside critic. That's someone building the technology making that prediction publicly. Now, to be fair, not everyone in the industry agrees. NVIDIA's CEO Jason Hung has pushed back directly on that kind of prediction, arguing that historically, productivity gains lead to more hiring, not less. and criticizing what he calls a fear-driven narrative around AI's impact on jobs. So even people closest to this technology don't agree on where it's headed. That disagreement by itself should tell you something. When the people building the tool can't agree on what it's about to do to the workforce, that's not a sign of things are under control. It's a sign we're in the early, unpredictable part of something much bigger. Here's the part of the story that goes beyond spreadsheets and quarterly earning calls. Every major economic transformation in history has started exactly like this. The Industrial Revolution was framed as a job story. Automation in the 20th century was framed as a job story. Each time, the technology didn't stop at labor, it reorganized who held power, who held information, and who got to make decisions for everyone else. And one of the most scarier parts of this, AI isn't just automating tasks, it's increasingly being trusted with decisions. Who gets hired? Who gets a loan? What's your resume look like? What content can people see? The part that's harder to measure is how much decision-making authority is quietly shifting away from people into systems very few people fully understand or control. That's the actual question underneath. Is AI taking our jobs? It's not really about jobs because yes, AI is taking our jobs, but are they taking something more? It's about whether the decision that shapes people's lives are still being made by people. Will humans merge with robots and AI and have full singularity? Will we bridge the gap between what really is a God and who is God? Will God be digital? Will God be something we worship? Will this create other things like cashless societies and universal basic income? I'll discuss all those topics in future episodes. But for now, the question is this. Will AI collapse the American system as we know it? Or we, as humanity, as Americans, ride off in the sunset a more prosperous nation?